How's it going, everyone? This is Alex Lyon and Andrew McGill. We're here coming at you today with coverage of the 2023 third annual Rocklin Cooldown. We started this year off with 2 warm-up events. They were both C tiers, but today's the big stage. Big payouts, great B tier ran by the Rocklin Disc Golf Club, and a lot of helpful volunteers. So we're going to bring you some coverage. All this is done by Premium Disc Golf. And we've got a sweet card today. This is our featured card. First up is Blake Faulkner, Andrew McGill, the homie sitting next to me. Then we got myself. I'm sorry I look like that. And then there's Derek Billings from the Woodworks. Farthest throwing lefty ever. There's a very special video of him on the internet. If you ever want to look it up, look up Derek Billings from the Disc Golf Guy.
This course comes to you at almost 9,000 feet in length, and it's played at the traditional Rocklin Disc Golf Course in Rocklin, California. It's a great venue for warming up and practice baskets and everything you could want in a warm-up area. Hole 1 here coming in at 441-foot par 3. Coming down with a double mando off the tee and an island to the right around that tree there. This shot demands a straight to pushing hyzer at the end with a skip up the hill. An early cutoff hyzer will leave you over by hole 2's tee pad.
This here is Blake Faulkner. He actually won the AM event the weekend prior, I believe, so he earned his way on to the featured card, and I believe it was a free spot for him to play.
And this is me here. I believe I'm throwing a early run Star Destroyer. Just trying to get it between that right tree and the bushy tree down there. And I turned this one over a little bit out of the hand. I've been caught in the tree in the middle a few times, and that's my miss.
I'm throwing a Halo Star Destroyer, super low, straight at the tree. First shot, jitters.
And Derek Billings making a comeback here into the disc golf scene, saying he's going to be playing all of next year and getting his game back. A lot of the younger players may not know Derek, but Derek was a staple in the mid-teens of the 2000s and early teens, and has been one of the farthest throwing lefties ever.
Quick little upshot with Star Croc right next to the basket. Nice and easy.
I was OB here and gave it just a little floaty run and take my 4 and get out of here.
Derek with a nice clean layup. I don't know a whole lot about Blake's game. I know him from a lot of local club events. I'm not too familiar with his bag though, but he's got some game for sure, obviously because he won the AM event. So let's see what what he can put together today. So everyone's tapping out here. Looks like we got 3 pars and McGill with the bogey because of that OB stroke. This is hole 2 coming in at 711 feet. It's a par 4 with a double mando about halfway, that lighter tree, and then one on the right there. The green is slightly, it's got a slight hill to it between all these trees. The basket is pretty much where the drone just landed. Pretty simple 2-shot hole, but can definitely, it's somewhat hard to birdie though still.
And this is one of those courses too that on paper the distance looks a little scary to some, but the course isn't terribly hard. It's a matter of playing golf and choosing your spots and landing your disc. If you can throw 350, within a 40 or 50 foot circle, you're going to be pretty all right out here.
Great shot.
Like for myself, I just took a Z buzz and I'm chopping this hole up into two shorter, easy shots instead of trying to really run that double mando, which it's really not worth it because from the double mando, it's not terribly far. It's more about just hitting the angle, that hillside right and coming into the green.
And I did the same thing here with a Rock X3 that was gifted to me by the late John Baldwin, and then I believe I went with a Excalibur to kind of just spike and sit, but I didn't really want to throw it to the pin here. I wanted to leave myself about 50 short behind a tree.
I think Blake is throwing I want to say a nuke. It's a little short under that tree. That's not going to have much of a putt, but should be an easy par for him.
Derek lining this shot up, he took a decent amount of time trying to figure out how he was going to deal with the branch that kept hitting him in the head every time on his run-up. I think he executed that shot all right.
I threw a glow max very poorly.
I had one little window up top here I tried to run it at. If I would have hit it, I would have left myself a 40-footer. It's probably not the best golf shot one could imagine.
This is the third iteration of this tournament, and the layout and how many holes we've played has changed every time. I believe the first event was 27 holes. Last year it became 23 holes. This is the first time we're doing more of a championship style 18, and I think the course designers and everyone involved did a pretty good job this time. 18 is definitely more preferable for the player. Those 23 and 27 hole rounds do take a long time. A lot of backups, especially when we're playing a lot of safari golf and we're dealing with untouched land. Like, this land doesn't get used for the entire year where these tent baskets are. So
And this is hole 3. This is a very demanding tee shot. You have water on the left and an OB creek running through the entire fairway here. You want to throw something out to the right, kind of a stall Annie hyzer that comes and lands flat, maybe a little left finish to get you by the basket. When we played this in the fundraiser, there was a bit of a headwind here, and a lot of discs went over to the right, kind of like Alex's did here. But it's not a shot that you need to think too hard into. You just need to trust your disc and really commit to your shot.
very hard lefty hole. So I feel for Derek here. Definitely going towards the other tee pad, same as my shot. We're so afraid of that water, it seems like.
And I'm throwing a Star Halo Charger here. These first run Halo Chargers came out to like a good straight, very stable destroyer. Kind of turned that one over. That one's been in my bag for about 8 months or so. And over to the right's not terrible. It's an easy putter approach to get your 3. Definitely want to get a 2 here. It's picking up strokes on a lot of people.
Derek from under the tree. About 15 long. Easy putt.
And a huge shout out to Roger Varbedian, one of the main tournament directors in jail, and RJ Jerez. Roger approached me and Derek Moore 2 years ago and said, hey, I want to design this course. I want some pro level shots, and with how long me and Derek have been playing, and we kind of gave some good input on this course, and instead of having the standard NorCal 300-foot hyzer shot and sidearm shot, we wanted to make something a little bit different to give people a different challenge that maybe people who don't travel out of the region get to see some different hole lines and shot shapes that you don't normally get to throw.
That's how you start out a round right there.
Got Blake here from about 18 feet.
Cashes it. That's a good putt to make early in the round, being on a featured pro card and not having that experience. Those 20 footers will really weigh on you if you don't start hitting them early.
Derek drops in his par. I don't know how long Blake's been playing, but he composed himself very well, and he was fun to be around on the card, and it was definitely, Blake came out knowing no expectations and asked a lot of questions, and was a very pleasant person to have.
Hole 4, 348. The entire section from the tee till that path is hazard, so it's pretty much a 348 spike hyzer that you got to get the full distance of, or you're taking a bogey for sure. Derek, another tough lefty hole, doesn't turn this over and is straight into the hazard. It was a fantastic shot.
I'm lining up a Star X-Cal from 2012 I got from a friend of mine when I lived in Texas, and just trying to get it out there and hyzer it in there and get somewhat close to the basket here.
Oh, I remember this shot. This was pretty terrible.
Horrible. Doinked it, and I was upset because I thought it rolled all the way back OB.
That caught more metal than most of your putts. Oh, straight
You're not
gap.
wrong.
Hazard. I'm throwing a PD2 to the moon. That one caught orbit. And normally that'd be a great shot if Andrew didn't start out by hitting the basket.
Blake with an easy little forehand up here. If you get stuck in the hazard, unless you're short right, it's pretty easy to get up and down for your 4. The hazard's 35 to 40 feet if you land right on the line and you're just out. So getting a 3 when you're in the hazard's going to be a super bonus, but to save your 4 is all you want to do here. A lot of people don't have a 350, 360 foot hyzer in their game, so I imagine this hole played pretty far over par.
2 2s and 2 4s, and we did miss one of Derek's shots from the hazard, so he did take a 4. I think we just missed that upshot from the hazard. Kelly Jew in the background lining up a putt. I actually believe he made that. It was like 70 feet.
Hole 5 here. This is a traditional Rocklin hole, left to right with a double mando. The double mando was added for the tournament. You'll see a lot of players throw a forehand here and let it skip in. I'll show you the terrible version of a flex forehand here. Normally during league nights, there's people who throw a big hyzer out to the right, and that shot's been eliminated with these mandos.
First sidearm of the day for me. Bink, right in the tree.
Killing it, man.
Derek with a little low release, a little early. Still slides up there. Might have a putt. But the front side of this pin has a low-hanging branch that's pretty large. So the front side is definitely the hardest side to putt from. You want to be left, long, or right, just not short.
There is also a roller play here. The roller is a little bit more of an aggressive play. I tried to throw a big floaty turn over here that there was, again, no commitment on it, so I'll take my medicine. But 35 to 40 feet again behind the basket's a hazard line. So throwing the roller as the hole lines up for it would be a great shot in some aspects.
Nova.
But you don't want to go long here. Trusty Nova approach
That's
there.
right, there is the hazard behind.
Derek, you see those branches came into play, and he's a low driving putt with a hazard behind is a scary putt to run sometimes.
So looks like you're off to a little bit of a struggle, but lots of golf left. We are coming up to your nemesis hole, though.
Yeah, I had a bit of a back injury going into this one. I just didn't feel right. My back was a little tight, and it started to cramp up around in here. And throwing some of these shots, there was just no commitment in sheltering my back a little bit to not throw my normal form that I would have.
Hole 6, 280. It is actually an island green. You can kind of see the line there. We're gonna have a wall and then the basket right in the center. It's a short, simple hole, but it's a lot harder for a lot of players than you think. It takes a pretty committed shot, and you really need it to spike down. You don't want any flare, as mine did, but I got pretty lucky and caught the wall.
This hole being only 280 feet to an island, you look at it as a putter shot, and a lot of people throw the putter. Me and Alex can both throw decently far, and throwing putters, it's still a full commitment for us to get it there. You'll see a lot of players go. I think Blake's throwing an overstable fairway class driver here. Just trying to get it in there, and that's a play for a lot of people, but you do bring in the skip and the roll.
I believe he hit the basket there. We couldn't see it because he was blocking it, but did not see a flare, and he had all smiles, so he must have hit the cage. I don't know.
This is a prototype AVR X3, one of the original ones that is a very trustworthy staple in my bag. We got Derek putting from hazard, I believe, here. Just a little short. Derek's a good player, and once he gets his putt figured out, he could compete with the best of them.
Good putt.
Alex was inbounds there and took his relief there behind the wall, still within his his stance and drain the 2-putt.
Blake picking up a nice birdie, gets himself back to 1 over par. If he can get himself back to even, he'll be in high hopes of putting together a nice solid round. McGill getting back to even.
Derek putting for his 4 here. Hole 7, par 4, 570 feet. This is all hazard we're flying over until you cross the path. There's a couple ways to play this. You can get super aggressive with a roller and get down there. You could throw a big forehand, or you could throw a fairway class to driver class that has a nice right finish on it. You want to avoid the tree on the left. It is an OB tree, and if you fall, you have a chance of landing OB depending on how your disc trickles down. And see Alex throwing a kind of a flippy driver mid here.
Leopard 3, nice smooth turnover. Not trying to bite off a lot. A lot of players really try and get a lot out of it, but you just need a nice center fairway hit, and the upshot's pretty simple.
And this is one of those holes, it's only 570 foot par 4. It did play almost a quarter of a stroke under par, but a lot of this course, as you'll see, has a lot of shots. So long as you don't try to bite off too much, like I did here with a Wraith.
You're just playing that bounce shot, man.
You'll score pretty well.
Derek's actually going for the basket. He can reach this hole. He gets over on this one a little bit, so it is hanging out wide, but it does get pinned high.
Well, this was a great shot. This will leave him 120 into the green. You can choose to go left or right on that. I threw a star coyote here. I thought it was a pretty decent line, and you hit those guardian trees and you'll still have a 50-footer to try to make your birdie 3.
Grenade.
Dude, that was one of the coolest shots I've ever seen.
Thanks, Blake. Not a lot of people throw the grenade, but I really think more people should learn it. It's such a useful shot for something like that where you want to take the trees out of play, and it's just a short, easy standard shot. You can just throw it up there and drop it right on top of it, stick it where it hits. It's in.
It's another one of those no commitment putts that I'm trying to figure out mentally right now. The Rocklin Disc Golf Club approached a bunch of people and put it on their Facebook pages a year and a half ago to buy 18 Disc Catcher Pro 28s from Innova last year for this event and other events that the Rocklin Disc Golf Club and some other clubs in the area can use the baskets for. So 18 of us came together and purchased baskets. Shout out to Mitch Connor for this basket here.
Hole 8, par 4, 585. We're actually playing standard hole 7 to standard hole 8. They made it one hole. There's a Mando there on the left and a Mando about 100 feet to the right, you can see, into this green. There is hazard long, but it's pretty long. It's almost to those bushes back there. You're going to want to go control, straight shot into that tree line and pretty much hope that you don't get a bad kick that sends you by that Mando.
Looks perfect.
This is it's a somewhat difficult hole. I like it and I don't, just for the fact that it is kind of a poke and hope. You can throw a great shot, but there's not a really true line, and you can clip a tree and pretty much instantly miss Mando. So you do need a little bit of luck on your side with this drive, unless you're just willing to lay up well short.
I missed Mando, right?
Yeah.
That was a missed Mando. He's going to be sent to the drop zone.
So I'm throwing a destroyer here. I've had pretty good luck with this shot, kind of driving it. I left this one a little high and out of my hand. I just knew it was right at that tree the whole time.
Lucky, dude. That's all.
There's not much you can do. It's pretty tight down there once you get through this wall.
Derek throwing from over by 8's actual tee pad. Gets a little skippy and is probably 25, I'd have to guess. to the right.
I'm throwing a 2016 Sexton Firebird here. Forehand guy just up to the basket.
Yeah, same forehand guy right here. Nice and short.
Big jump.
Favorite way to do it.
Good layup.
That looks sick from in here.
Another forehand guy.
Blake's throwing from the drop zone here on the left.
New Go S, it looks like.
Yeah, something very stable, just getting it up there and spiking it in. These greens are not super fast if you land on the right angle, but if you do land on the right angle, it will get you a decent skip.
So I'm feeling real good right here. On a nice little birdie streak. And just, yeah. Alex doing Alex things.
Pulled a little to the right there.
These are what I live for, though. The comebacker, right in the heart. Give me some hope. And it looks like I cut Blake. He was up, and I got a little too excited to play. Not a bad miss. Hot. No one likes to miss, but missing high is not the end of the world. Still committing to your putt.
Blake tapping in his bogey there. It's one of those holes, if you do miss the Mando, it is possible to still save your four. Going into hole 9 here, par 4 623, a lot of players will go out to the left with a big turnover shot that kind of skids out in this area. There is a small hyzer play, and there's also a big over-the-top play to get you down by these double Mandos. It is a risk-reward shot, and you definitely don't want to not be lined up to make that last double Mando. See Derek here going big hyzer, kind of playing to the lefty, spiking it over by a 10's tee pad there. And that'll leave him an easy 350 straight shot right to the basket.
This is a hole that I love this hole. It is a high level par 4. It takes 2 well executed shots. Because a lot of OB. There's a double Mando right at the end. Oh, you got a little incredible.
I got an incredible there. This is the spotters gave us the green flag. They were down by the basket, and the spotters didn't know that I play a big over-the-top turnover. And my brother was actually on the card ahead of us, and it came in and skipped between someone's legs from what I heard, and startled them a little bit.
I just went turnover with a champ Roadrunner. I'm chopping this shot up into two throws. Blake headed to the drop zone, which is actually hurts.
And even when you're playing hole 10 OG in this position, and you add in the double Mando, it is a still demanding mid-range class to fairway class shot down this gullyway here.
Derek missing Mando. It's a tough shot. Throw my favorite disc ever, a Jokery. Through the tight gap, slide right up to the basket. And just so we're all clear, OF on my shirt does not stand for OnlyFans. It's Odd Future. So
I was a little pinched off here. That was my drive. Went a little long, and thankful I didn't go past the Mando. Just took a little AVR X3 and floated it up for an easy tap in 3. There is ways to easily get a 5 or 6 on this hole if you do get too aggressive and start missing Mandos and going OB.
Oh my God.
Derek from the drop zone.
You didn't miss that 10-footer.
I did not. I'm starting to catch a good stride here besides that one putt. Derek, he's struggling on these last couple holes.
Derek's been out of the game for a couple years now.
A lot of years.
Started a family and had kids and got married and started throwing frisbees again in the park. And he's just trying to dial that putt in. And his drives are still there. His power is still there. His mindset's still there. Great. But once he dials this putt in, he could take over the California scene.
Yeah, he'll be hard to beat.
After 9 holes, we got Blake at 3 over, myself at 2 down, Alex at 4 down, and Derek at 1 over. There's a lot of birdie opportunities coming up on this course to really get some strokes back and get back under par if you're over par. So we'll see on this next 9 what happens.